This is the Reds POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Cincinnati Reds. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good evening, Reds fans, and welcome to another edition of the POSTCAST, brought to you by Locked On Reds and the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name is Tim Daniel, and my second season here at Locked On, covering the Reds on the POSTCAST. And on tonight's show, we're going to talk about the Matt McClain's pickoff is a big no-no. Andrew Abbott's really solid today, but has to hang the loss. The first inning comes back to bite them, and it really showed. But first, we're going to discuss the fact that, well, they choked this one away.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
So I've been pretty high on Dane Myers for a while, right? Pretty high on him, right? But when Ilderarmo Vargas hits that triple and Dane takes a bad angle to it, then gets to it, slips and on the warning track, and that brings in another run, I think that's when you got to call this the turning point. Now, Luis May is the one who has to wear that, right? And I'm not mad at Luis May. Luis May's allowed to have a bad outing here and there. I don't necessarily know if I'd call this a bad outing. I think it just kind of was a worst case scenario for him there. And look, I love Dane Myers. I can come on here all the time and tell you guys, look, I get these pretty good leaguers. I can be critical of them. I can point out their flaws. I can also tell when they're really good, but it's a frustrating one, right? I mean, between that one and then you see the whole the ground out there that Lars Newbar brings a run in the bottom of the seventh right before that. Then that obviously wasn't very good either. It just was a frustrating day. They had their chances to win this one. They should have won this one. They get off to a 3-0 lead on the road. You got to stand your ground. And they just didn't do that today. You give up that run the sixth inning, Moreno hits the sac fly, brings in Corbin Carroll. Yeah, sure. You also stranded Corbin Carroll on a triple. And Corbin Carroll's awesome. There's no world where I wouldn't love to have him on my team. He has a double and a triple today. And Arizona wasn't exactly bringing everybody in either. They were 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Arizona left 6 on base. And the Reds were, doing the Reds thing, right? 2 for 9 with 10 left on base. I don't know, guys. It's just frustrating. And they had their chances, right? So let's go back to the first inning real quick. And if you remember in the first inning, it seems like they have a really good chance. So Ellie grounds out to start the game. Sal Stewart strikes out. Dane walks. Tyler Stevenson gets a hit. Geno walks below the bases. And Matt McClain comes up and has this big pop out. And you're like, crap. It kind of felt like one of those, that's going to come back to bite him moments, right? Pierre says, can't wait to see Tommy Pham rip on Dane Myers again. In a dumb season, like Mo Egger said, a dumb season, we just had to have a dumb Twitter war, right? It's just so stupid. So I feel like that's kind of the part there where things just didn't go well, because from there, Corbin Carroll gets the double and Andrew Abbott works through it. Third inning, kind of same thing. Will Banefield's getting at bats. Whatever. They get to the second inning pretty cleanly. They get that strikeout of Lawler in the inning. Ellie has a nice double from the right-handed side of the plate again. So you're like, all right, cool. Sal Stewart brings him in. Dane Myers then gets another double, which that's when I was like, man, I wonder what Tommy Pham's going to say about that. That didn't age very well. Now did it. Ty Steve strikes out. Geno brings in Dane on the ball, and then Matt McClain strikes out again. Ugly inning. Got some runs on there, but it was pretty good. I don't know. I just feel like this is one of those ones where earlier in the year, I'm probably far more mad, but where we are in the season, I'm like, just another Reds game. It is what it is. It's what they do. But this was a frustrating one. It was disappointing because it's a national TV game on Peacock, and they genuinely played well enough in most circumstances. Besides, they didn't get charged an error for anything. Myers doesn't get charged an error to his baseball card. Probably a mental error. Hope the best for him, obviously. Love that guy. Think he should be the center fielder again next year, but just too many mental errors in this game. And we're going to talk about Matt McClain's pickoff a little later in the game too. It's not a good Matt McClain day at all. But so on and so forth. The Reds do take the loss. We're going to go ahead and take our first break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about Andrew Abbott, because even though this game did not go his way, he was much better than this box score shows. But first, a big thank you to our friends from Amazon for this limited break. This back-to-school season, spend less on your kids with Amazon. We all know how crazy the back-to-school shopping experience can be. It starts with a few items on the list, then suddenly you're shopping for supplies, clothes, lunch gear, tech, and about 10 other things you didn't see coming. It adds up quick. When you look at the school supply list and wonder if you're shopping for one child or opening a small office supply store, I didn't realize first grade required this much inventory. Shopping like this can get out of control if you're not careful. When your kid spends days planning the perfect first day of school outfit because they want to make a great first impression, you end up putting almost as much thought into it as they do. At least the first day photos are worth it. So remember, with Amazon's low back-to-school prices, just spend less on your kids, because every dollar you don't spend on them is a dollar you haven't spent on them. Shop back to school at Amazon and spend less on your kids. If you're an everyday, I want to go ahead and thank you for spending some time with us and making Locked On Reds your first listen each and every day, whether you're catching me the morning after the game on the postcast or Jeff and Steve Monday through Friday on Locked On Reds. We appreciate all of you for hanging out with us as well. And don't forget, we also do have the Locked On Everydayer Club. You go to lockedonreds.supercast.com, get access to ad-free episodes of all your favorite Locked On shows. We also have our group chat in our Discord as well. We're all in there talking ball with all of your favorite hosts, and we want to talk ball with you. Let's give a little love to Andrew Abbott real quick.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
So realistically, another nice Abbott game. I know his 6 innings and 4 runs isn't going to be something that jumps off the back of the baseball card or the baseball savant page by any stretch of the matter, but he was really solid tonight. 6 strikeouts to 2 walks. Probably was out a little longer than needed to be. You could tell he was a little gassed when he goes out for the 7th. Does not get an out in the 7th before they bring Luis May in. And, shockingly, I don't know if it was just the humidity, if it was Phoenix or what. He only had 88 pitches at that time he was taken out. So I don't know if this was just not fully prepared for it, if he got overheated. I don't have an answer to any of that, but disappointing day for him, I'm sure. And I know he's kind of been up and down of late, but I still genuinely like him. I think we all do. He's got a 424 his last 7 games, 40 innings in that time frame with 30 strikeouts. Walks are still a little too high for my liking right now. He's got 20 in his last 7 appearances. We got to bring that down. We got to get that point there too. I talked about Luis May already and just how he kind of had a disappointing outing. And like I said, he's been so good since he came back up. And now we're kind of in this case here where he's going to have a bad game. Bullpen guys, that's why they say you got to turn it around really quickly. You got to wash this one away and be ready for tomorrow if he's got to pitch in San Francisco, because that's how it goes there. And Pierce Johnson gets an inning. He was pretty decent. Just gets an inning out there and just kind of gets through everybody. 1, 2, 3. So that was really solid to see. Just kind of feel bad for Abbott because I feel like this is one that he probably wins this game most places. And just kind of had the night he had tonight where he was decently solid and it just didn't come through for him. It's a bummer, but so be it. Let's talk about a few other things here real quick before we get out of here. So top of the order again, Ellie, Sal, and Dane get 5 hits as a trio. They get a walk in there. They've got 3 runs scored. So they were with all 3 guys on the board there. That was nice to see. Tyler Stevenson DHing again, goes 1 for 4 with a walk, does have 2 strikeouts, the last strikeout to end the game. But I like Tyler Stevenson's game. Yeah, Esther says it here. Everybody's going to have a bad game once in a while. It's baseball. I mean, what's it saying all the time? The best players in the world, they get out 7 of 10 times. Yeah, it happens. Geno, another nice game today. 1 for 2 with 2 runs batted in and a walk. What's Geno's numbers of late? Let's look at those. So I feel like he's been hitting pretty well of late. So yeah, in his last 15, a 227 batting average, a 379 on base, and a 432 slugging, 2 home runs, 10 runs batted in, 9 walks. He was really good. And I like that he's kind of turning it around. I know he enjoyed going back to Arizona. He got a round of applause in the first game for everything he did for that team. Good for him, man. I love that Geno's loved everywhere, not just in Cincinnati. So that's nice to see. Hector Rodriguez gets a double again today. I feel like he's kind of starting to figure things out. So he goes 1 for 4 today with a double, does have a strikeout. And yeah, I mean, he's getting better. He's got a 391 slugging, 280 on base of the last 7. That's not obviously great, but it's starting to see him get a little better out there. And that's the part that's really nice to see. So we're going to see his growth. And it's going to be fine. I just can't get over Will Banfield getting at bats or being on the big league team. Like, I get it when they sent somebody down, but now we're just kind of the third catcher thing. And then today they put Tolia on the IL, and they bring up Ivan Johnson, where it's like, another thing against Ivan Johnson, I think he's a good player, and I think he has a future in the big leagues, maybe as like a bench bat, but not the way I would go there. I was, like I said, on Friday night, I would have been more than willing to purchase Will Benson's contract to put him back on the big league roster. Juan Brito, you could have sold me on before you sold me on bringing back Ivan Johnson. But I don't know, the roster construction doesn't make any sense either. And I don't know if that's Tito. I don't know if that's, more Nick Kroll stuff or Brad Metter stuff, but whoever it is, like, I don't know if what they're trying to do here. But I agree. So Esther says Pirates and Cards should be in the rear view. I agree, but I also feel like you can make the case of Reds have won quite a few games this year they shouldn't have. That's what MLB seems to think. The Reds are 62 and 69, and MLB has their expected win-loss at 56 and 75. So apparently they're 6 wins better than they're supposed to be at this point. So I don't know what that means. Take that with what you will. But frustrating day, man. Frustrating day for sure. And the mental errors are the thing that gets me the most. So let's kind of talk about these real quick.
Uh-oh, somebody messed up, and it's time to let them know with who fudged up.
So Matt McLain, whatever. He gets beat with the bases loaded in the first inning. So be it. Has a big strikeout later in the game. Okay. Gets picked off. A little too much. When Terry Francona took over as the manager for this team, I thought the idea was that we would get past these like dumb base running errors that we see all the time. And sometimes a reliever just has an awesome pickoff move and you just kind of got to tip your cap. But McClain getting picked off there just caused the ripple effect of that game. So I hate to see it. I don't really obviously get so frustrated because I think this is a team that should be more aggressive on the base path. And then we have situations like that where I don't have an argument and I lose that argument, which is fine. It's fine. But gets picked off at first, ends an inning. That sucks, man. Because that's a situation where JG Bleday is coming off of a cycle and JG Bleday does get a walk today, but obviously lefty on lefty, you don't think he's going to do too much there, but just kind of puts him in a bad predicament. And I feel like when we have these instances there, and look, I love McClain. I think McClain's played really well of late. But it's just so frustrating there. And it's just what some of those things that goes away. And then obviously the Myers play, that's another mental gaffe where I don't know how they run into that. So it sucks. I want to see this team just kind of clean these things up. And I thought they would be cleaned up by now, but we're now going into the last month of Tito's second season. And I have no idea what we're looking at. But hey, the beauty of baseball, right? You get through this one, you go out there tomorrow, and we see what happens next. I did want to get to real quick. I see some comments in the chat about, I actually did not get a chance to watch the broadcast. I listened in the radio. I cut the grass today. And sometimes that's just something I really love to do. It's like my favorite way to catch a game. So it was Chris Welsh and Tommy Thrall on the broadcast today, and they were great. So yeah, let me know what you think of the Peacock one. I didn't get a chance to watch it today. I liked what was it, a couple weeks ago when Sam LeCure was on the national broadcast. Was that with Roku? I can't remember who that was with, but that was really good to see too. So I like that baseball's kind of expanding. I don't love the Apple TV broadcast. I like the stats stuff they show, but I don't necessarily know if they're adding a whole lot as far as commentary. I like that I can just turn on the radio version while I watch the Apple broadcast. So that's pretty cool. But now we move on as the Reds do unfortunately take a loss in the rubber match against the Arizona Diamondbacks 5-3. The Diamondbacks have 5 runs on 8 hits and an error. The Reds have 3 runs on 8 hits and no errors. Let me pull up the same because I know I'm going to pronounce this incorrectly. Jonathan Losiaga gets the win. He is 5-3 with a 2.58 ERA. Andrew Abbott takes the loss. He is 6-9 with a 4.15. And then Kevin Ginkel gets the save. He now has his second save of the year in a 3.76 earned run average. And the Reds continue their West Coast trip tomorrow as they head to beautiful San Francisco, California. And guess what? It's Chase Burns Day. Chase Burns takes the hill for the Reds. He is 14-2 with a 2.51 ERA. Excited to see him pitch in a big ballpark like that and see how he does. The Giants, according to the MLB app, have not quite made their decision just yet, but I'm assuming it'll come out way before we get to the broadcast. And probably a series the Reds should win. And also, don't forget, this one could be a little chippy. If you remember the last time when San Francisco came to Cincinnati earlier this year, the last out of the series, Sal Stewart and the Giants got a little words in. So we'll see how it goes. But first pitch will be at 9:45. So we'll have a little bit later show tomorrow night. Everyone, thank you again for spending some time with me today. Unfortunately, the Reds do lose, but don't forget to continue to make Locked On your first listen each and every day, whether it's on your podcast app of choice or if you're hanging out here on YouTube. Please be sure to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and also hit that notification button so you get alerted anytime we have a new episode go up live here on YouTube. With that being said, I'm Tim Daniel. Everyone, thank you again. Go Red Legs. I will see you tomorrow.